Hey there, we're Krystal and Eric, corporate remote workers, Airbnb photographers, and now full-time van lifers. We like traveling off the beaten path and finding hidden gems along the way. If you like that too, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more. And come along with us today as we post a video every day for our first 30 days in the van. Hey, and welcome to our first Van Life Wisdom Wednesday. As a part of our 30-day daily vlogging of our van life adventure, we figured we'd break it up every Wednesday, giving you our best tips from starting van life.
And hopefully we'll have enough to continue this for the full month. I think we will.
I think so. I've been learning a lot. I think I could do the whole month starting right now.
Just tips. Today, the tip is going to be our road trip rules for when we travel. So this is going to be relevant, especially if you're planning on working while you're hitting the road, but even for those who aren't working while you're traveling.
Even before we were full-time van lifers, we did extensive road trips. There you go.
We did this one.
We did 28 states in a calendar year, so we were up and down the East Coast and did a full Midwest road trip. Watch the videos here, they're all very fun and good and cool. We really have a lot of experience in working while traveling. We didn't take a single vacation day for any of those trips that we mentioned, maintaining our corporate remote job. So here's our best tips.
Our first category of tips is going to be time limits, which are very important when you're on the road and you're balancing your time between your work day and the time you're spending in your car. So for us, we have 4 cardinal rules when it comes to time limits, and the first is going to be no driving more than 8 hours on any day, no matter what. 8 hours we chose as our personal limit because we feel like it's the right amount of time to get you far enough into a road trip without just being in the car all dang day. And obviously we're doing 8 hours on a day that we're not working because that would be a little bit too much to balance with work.
Our second time limit is 4-hour maximum on a work day. Now, this will give you enough time to actually get a drive in. So if you're working from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., you could load up the car, hit the road, get in around 8 p.m. But really, that's the maximum because that's all that you're gonna be doing for that day. At 31 years old, I don't know about you, I'm not going out after 8 p.m. Oftentimes, we're going to be doing less than that. That would get you in a little bit earlier, but 4-hour maximum and you should be good.
Our third cardinal rule when it comes to time limits is that we have to spend 2 nights in each place. And this is not as much of a punishment as it is an allowance to let us enjoy our time outside of the car or outside of the van. Being in a car, especially if you're doing that 8-hour drive, can be so taxing that when you just get one night at a place and you wake up and you go drive again, it's honestly just exhausting, and the last place you want to be is the car.
We spent 24 hours in Savannah, Georgia, and I saw nothing, felt nothing, could do nothing there. There
was no capacity to do anything.
I felt like it was almost as if we had continuously drove. Like it was like a travel day in and of itself. So definitely don't drive back-to-back nights. And last but not least, stop every 2 hours for at least 15 minutes during your drive, especially on the 8-hour days. This is really important before the van to go to the bathroom. We do have our own bathroom on site now, so that's not as important, but especially just to break up the drive, especially if you are the driver. Maybe you only have one person that drives 100% of the time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It really helps prevent you from becoming overwhelmed by the drive. You might not feel tired after 2 hours, but it does stop you from getting there. It does stop the exhaustion from coming and allows you to have a more enjoyable drive over the long course of the day. 2-hour tops, take the 15-minute break, maybe more, have a picnic, go for a walk. The world is beautiful. Get out of the car too, you know?
Okay, our second category of tips is going to be all about planning and the structure of your trip, and this is something that we are very, very proud of. So first up, when we talk about trips where you are starting in a location, going to a second location, and going to end up back in your location, some would call that there and back trips.
I call them out and back. I don't really see it as
out and back.
Mm-hmm. That's what your road trip is. Call it whatever you want.
Down,
up,
down,
up, down.
So for your there and back trips, on the way to your destination, you do the straight shot. So an easy example of something that we've done many times is from our home base in Pennsylvania to Portland, Maine. So we will take the 8-hour drive straight to Portland, and the 8-hour drive is easy when you consider all of the tips we just gave you, and that you're so excited to get to your destination. So you got your road trip music playing, you got the windows down, maybe you're taking pictures, you're having fun, you are getting to your destination. But then on the way home, you're not gonna just drive those 8 hours back. You're actually going to take the way home to explore new places. On the way home from Portland, for example, stopping in Rhode Island or Connecticut or New Hampshire, not in that order, but we like to break it up and stop in these different places, again, for about 2 or 3 nights each, just to break up the drive home.
And the cherry on top is that the drive on the last day after you've been traveling is only
like 2 hours.
That's easy.
You get so much closer to your home destination, and honestly, that is how it feels, right? Like, sometimes you just want to get home after a really long trip.
Front load it and have fun. Second tip in planning and structure is having the big things planned out in advance before you get to the location that you will be spending time at. You don't really want to be spending a lot of time while you're on site deciding, oh, what am I gonna do now that I'm here? That kind of wastes time during your trip and can cause a lot of stress. So have those big tentpole items picked out so that when you get there, you're excited but also relaxed. And if you're a corporate remote worker specifically, have where you're going to work planned out in advance. Make sure if you have calls that it's not a loud place. Make sure that they have strong Wi-Fi. Make sure that the coffee's good, because why would you go there if it wasn't? Having these things picked out is going to make your trip more enjoyable from the very start.
But on that same note, make sure that you do leave room for any spontaneous activities that you may not find until you're actually in that location. So there is a delicate balance between planning every intricate detail versus having some flexible time to just explore a new place or do a new thing. Sometimes you can be traveling and meet someone or see something on the side of the road and just want to go explore that. And some of the coolest places that we've been have been places that we didn't plan on going. We kind of just saw it on the way.
Oh my god! This is the friendliest place I've ever been!
And a tip, especially for remote workers, make sure that you book yourself an Airbnb with a dedicated workspace and that has strong Wi-Fi. You can find dedicated workspace as a sub amenity right there on the listing, and you can actually message the host and request what the Wi-Fi speeds are, and they can send you a screenshot of the report, so you can take care of that ahead of time. Quick fire random tips. Now it's time for quick fire random tips.
Tip number 1 is to always have food in the car, and always having food in the car is very important because no one wants to make any type of decision when they're hangry, especially if that decision is, where the hell are we gonna eat? It's the worst decision to make when you're hungry, and it's even worse when you have dietary restrictions. So if anyone out there has any type of restrictions or you're just trying to eat healthy, have restaurants or potential stops planned ahead. Or no, sorry, that's not the tip.
Are you hungry?
Yeah. Have food in the car. Just to have food in the car is so important. Protein bars, potato chips, whatever it is. Our go-to is peanut butter and jelly for something a little more substantial as well.
You have to have the emergency PB&J.
Yeah.
There are straight up large scale American cities that do not cater to dietary restrictions. There's been sections of the Midwest road trip where Krystal only ate the PBs and J's. What would have happened to you?
I don't know.
And last but not least, what could be the most important tip of all is to have a really solid road trip philosophy. It's all about mindset. If you think that a long drive is like, oh no, this huge drive, we're never gonna get there, what if there's traffic, then you're setting yourself up for a bad time. Having a positive mindset that the journey is an important part of the trip just makes you have such an awesome time.
And I can personally speak to this because when Eric and I met, I had my own road trip philosophy that I would not spend more than 4 hours in a car at one time.
That is the most ironic thing because we live
in a van now.
One now. That's it for our first Van Life Wisdom Wednesday. Thank you guys for coming. Like this video if you got anything out of it. Subscribe because we have a lot more van life stuff coming.
And let us know if you implement any of these tips because we personally love them. You will follow along and see us follow them as we continue our journey across America and God knows where else in our van. And make sure you stay tuned because we are vlogging our first 30 days of van life and it has not been without incident so far.
Some people make mistakes when they have new stuff they don't quite understand and open something without removing the cushions and popping screws out of the wall.
Stay tuned for that.
We'll see ya.
Bye. So it's time for dinner now.